Welcome to another episode of the Rhythm of the Road podcast. This podcast is not just about the journey, but also about the growth, transformation, and self-discovery that comes with life on the proverbial road. Grab a cup of joe, buckle up, and let's embark on a journey of self-discovery, creativity, and entrepreneurship. Let's get rolling.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Rhythm of the Road podcast. Today is a little bit of a special day for me, and this episode is a bit of a special episode for me because one of my favorite numbers, I don't know if you want to call it a lucky number, favorite number, whatever you ascribe to or subscribe to, whichever way you want to say it, because it's early in the morning and that's cool. The number 28 has kind of always been a special number to me. I chose that for my jersey when I was playing sports when I was little, or that's always what I went for. It also happens to be the day of the month that I started dating my wife. It just has all sorts of significance for me. And so I thought that I would talk about on this episode something that was pivotal and significant to me just a few short years ago. And I don't want to talk about like another fitness program. Obviously, I'm not a fitness person. Like, that's not what I do. That's not my job. I subscribe to the fact that it's very important. It's something that I focus on in my life. But let's face it, if you're watching this on video, you can see that I'm not some fitness nut. However, I'm in a good shape for where I'm at in my life and where I'm headed. But we all know that we can always do better. But what I want to talk about is this program 75 Hard. I did this program, the 75 Hard, the first part of it, just a couple of years ago in the fall. And for me, it was a game changer. And I was part of this mastermind, and it was like the big buzz, and everybody was doing it, and all of these kinds of things. And I had attempted to start it, and I don't like to use the word try, so I attempted to start it a couple of times. And so before I get too far into it, let me just explain how simple yet how hard this program is. And so what you commit to is 75 days of doing these simple tasks every day. And their simple tasks are drinking a gallon of water, taking a progress photo of yourself, reading 10 pages of a good personal development driven or business book every day. You do 2 45-minute workouts. One is indoor, one has to be outdoors, regardless of weather. I'll talk about the book in a second. It does give some thoughts around like safety for your life, and how to combat that a little bit. You have to eat healthy, and he talks about having a healthy diet and making a choice. There's nothing specific around it because it's around whatever you choose it to be. That's just the very simple, basic version of it. And you follow it along on an app every day, and you check off the boxes, and you get your little dopamine hits, and you check the boxes. It gives you the circles. You completed your day. It congratulates you. But here's what I mean by attempt to start. Like, if you don't check off all those boxes in one day, and you start back at 1. So if you make it to day 7 and you miss your progress photo, or you miss a workout, or you miss getting that whole gallon of water, like, you go back and you start at day 1. And so I did a few attempts of this in a springtime, which coincides a little bit with this time of year. And what I found is like, I wasn't ready. And what do I mean by like, so what I figured out then was I was not ready. So what do I mean by that? Like, I mentally wasn't ready and prepared to do this program. So I took a step back. I purchased the book that Andy Frisella, who's the creator of this 75 Hard program and movement and culture, so to speak, I ordered the book that really was meant to go with the program, and I sat and I read the whole thing. And what I really discovered was, though this has a fitness component to it, and it's important, and it does help so many things and so many parts of it, that's just a part of it. The biggest part about this is that mental toughness and the mental fortitude to push through and do these simple, tiny tasks every single day. And I think we forget it's the small, simple tasks that we do every day, persistently and consistently, that are so simple to do that they're hard because we think they're so simple and we can just skirt by them. So when I decided, right, and to decide is to end all other possibilities, right? That side part of decide is what makes that happen. And so I'm like, I'm doing this. I woke up on a Monday morning and I was like, here I go. And I really didn't tell anybody. I just went for it. And then a couple days later, as I was having success as completing those 3 days, is I joined an accountability group online, and just like a Facebook Messenger group of 50 or 60 people. And we all committed to do it, and we were all in there cheering each other on and moving through the process. And what I really discovered is what Andy talked about in the book, because he broke each of the, let's call them sets of days, down what was going to happen to you from a psychological standpoint. And this is what I'm talking about, the mental toughness, because you're really excited for that first week, so it's pretty easy. And even though you're probably pretty sore because you're doing 2 45-minute workouts every day, you push through. But then that like next day, 7 through 14, 7 through 15, it starts to wear on you a little bit because you're starting to realize, like, how's this going to fit into all of the activities I have going for the 75 days? Because once you start, you can't stop. And once I started that time, I was not going back to day one. And so it was really interesting to just really fight the mental piece, and how do I block my time, and how do I figure all this out, and how do I fit it into my day, and how do I explain to my family like I'm trying to eat healthy, or how, if I'm going out with my friends, like how do I tell them like I'm doing this mental toughness program, like I'm not consuming alcohol, right? That is the one thing I forgot in the beginning. So apparently it's been a minute since I'd done it, but hey, here we are. And I was traveling and playing gigs as a musician, traveling and in bars and all these kinds of situations where like that was a thing. Like you just were participating and partaking, and like I didn't. And like people thought that was weird. And I'm like, it's not that weird because I'm doing it for me. And it wasn't because I didn't want to drink alcohol. It was because this was part of this program and this is what we had to do. And so as we got farther into the program, and I don't want to go into every detail of the book or every detail of the program, I want you to experience it for yourself, or better yet, you got questions, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to anyone about it. Is you start to see people fall off. And it wasn't just like, oh, I missed one thing and I had to start at zero, because there were definitely those people, but like people just started falling off. And I think by the end, when we got all the way to day 75, and those of us that completed it, was less than half of that group that was online that actually completed it, which was pretty well in alignment with what Andy said by the end of his book. And it's like people really start dropping on like flies when you hit like day 50 to 55, because like it just gets really mentally tough. And honestly, I had a moment at day 52 where like it was flipped a switch for me, and it was like this became my new lifestyle. And instead of thinking about, oh, how am I going to fit this in, it was like, well, this is just part of my day and this is part of my week. I actually started planning, what is it going to look like when I get to day 76, 77, 78, day 90? And how do I want this to look different? And so I think that that was the true key for me. Not only did I physically get more in shape and feel better because you're drinking all this water and you're eating healthy, your body is just physically better. Things were easier. It was less stressful. I was sleeping better. Um, I could do anything during the day, and I could plan out my day, and I had energy for it. I didn't feel like I had to take that like afternoon lull of a nap at that 2, 3 p.m. time. Like it just was easier. In fact, now as I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, why don't I go back and do that program again? Because that sounds pretty good right about now. But it doesn't fit for me right now. And I think you have to be ready for it, because the point isn't for you to get discouraged or feel like you're failing or you keep going back to day one. Like you're not creating those failure opportunities. You're really trying to make sure that you can move forward. And so I'm not ready to do that again because I want to be able to commit to it. However, as I sit here and think about it and reflect upon it, like think about a program that's like this, and it doesn't have to be 75 hard. There are so many out there, but you're committing to a program to make you better, to make you mental tough. Maybe it provides you something that you're not even aware of. It provided me an access to a whole network of people that were just had a single-minded goal of completing a program. And I made friends out of that. And because of that, my business grew and it created new opportunities for that because I was open and aware and I had time. I had a minimum of 90 minutes a day to focus on whatever I wanted to because I had to be exercising. So if I was doing an outside run, like what a great time to be thinking and reflecting and being creative and coming up with new ideas. That time, like that's when I started like working on and writing my book. You can see it right here if you're on YouTube. Go ahead and grab a copy, Road to 99, right? That's when I wrote my book. Like I was inspired to do that. And a whole slew of other things that were just super amazing. So it was a launching pad for me and a catalyst for me for so many things. And so I'm grateful for that mental toughness and the fortitude and the persistency and the consistency that that program provided me. And nowhere in there did you hear me talking about fitness and workouts and what did I do and how much did I lift and how much did I run or what did I do? None of that, because it was just one small checkbox that I had to do. Well, two, I guess, technically, because one 45-minute and one 45-minute, right? So it was just a part of the program, and I didn't make my focus on that, because when I made my focus on that, that's when I was attempting it and thought that that's what I was supposed to do. So here's my thoughts. If you're interested in 75 Hard specifically, before you even start it, honestly, before you even download the app, buy the book. And not because I get anything from it or nothing, but buy the book and read it and be prepared and be ready. Or watch this episode again. You're going to get a bunch of it. However, you're not going to get some of those other psychology driven things that when you hit those roadblocks, and they were pretty much scripted exactly right, because that was based on thousands of people going through this program and them giving feedback to Andy about it. Use that and then download the app and buckle up and get ready to go, because I guarantee you are going to be such a different person. Probably not completely different, because that just doesn't really exist, but you'll be a very different person. So think about it, reflect on it, go back and listen to this if you missed some spots, or just go buy the book, check it out, or go do a Google search, because there's plenty of information out there on the interwebs about it, and you can decide for yourself it's a good fit for you, because it's not for everybody. And because it's not for everyone, I don't recommend it for everyone, because I don't recommend people setting themselves up for feeling like they're failing, because I don't want that either. Thank you so much for checking this out, listening today, being a part of this Road to 99 community. I appreciate you watching. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber yet, hit the subscribe button. Thank you. I'm almost at 1,000, so let's get us there. If you're listening on your favorite audio listening platform, please just like, follow, subscribe, and leave a review. Maybe someone else needs to hear this message today, and maybe you don't feel like sharing it. That's totally cool. But leaving that review and just giving a little remark helps it bump up in those awesome algorithms and statistics that we're always looking for, so more people can find us. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on down the road.
Thanks for cruising with me on this episode of Rhythm of the Road. Remember, the journey itself is the destination. Until next time, keep the rhythm flowing, and we'll see you down the road.